Today is going to be a very interesting episode. It's going to be FSD versus the rain and downtown LA traffic. So we're navigating into a tea shop place in downtown LA, and let's get started. So we're going to see if we could go through this entire ride without any intervention, because it's going to be a double whammy challenge. So I'm very curious how the FSD is going to handle this. Again, right here it says full self-driving may be degraded or weather detected. So it knows that it's not the best weather conditions. So hopefully we'll survive. So let's see what happens. It's going to be a 32-minute ride to downtown. I've got my wipers going on just in case. Or I guess we have to. You have to have your wipers on actually when you're in FSD. It's a safety thing that they implemented. So again, this whole new, right now we're using the FSD 12.3.4, and it's an end-to-end neural network that's been fully trained on the videos of various drivers collected from Tesla. So prior to the version 12, they were using a lot of hard-coded things that they programmed using different models, like decision trees. These are giant bus next to me. But now with this whole neural end-to-end version, all they have is video input, and output is the steering wheel and the pedal, start, acceleration, and brakes. So you have three outputs just on the video input. And I've had a lot of comments about people talking about the visualization that you see here. What I think the visualization is probably uses a separate neural network. So they may still use things like object detection and reconstruction, things like that, depth estimation to generate some of these scenes. But in terms of the actual controls of the car for the full self-driving, that's probably the completely different network that they're using. So of course, Tesla doesn't go into details of that. These are just some speculations that I have. But yeah, you can see very shortly in about a mile, we're gonna be going up on the freeway. So previously, all my other videos have been local. This is gonna be a combination of local streets and the freeway. And then when we get off the freeway, we're gonna be in some busy parts of downtown LA, as you can see here. So we'll see how it's gonna do. So let's see how long it'll take before it starts going over to the right lane, because we're going to be getting on ramp pretty soon. Doing so far so good right now. I don't think the rain is really affecting it that much. So we got 0.4 more miles before the entrance. It should start to go over soon. Let's see. Okay, yeah, now it's heading over. It's having it apply some slight force on the wheel. Should be going over one more. Okay, now it's going over. It's a little bit delayed, but caught on. Signaling right now to get on ramp. Yeah, so in my last video I was discussing things like the robo-taxi and how close we might be getting. You know, to actually fully implement the robo-taxi, there's still a lot of things that needs to happen. So if you look at Uber, they have a bunch of drivers that's already out there question if Tesla wants to eventually compete with Uber, a lot of things have to happen. So, okay, so we're trying to merge in right now. There's a giant truck in front of me. Let's see if it's gonna change lanes or anything. Okay, so it just canceled on. Oh, never mind, it didn't cancel. So right now it's at 60 max. I'm gonna, yeah, so I'm limited to 60 miles per hour with FSD because of the weather conditions. You see it's not letting me increase. So it's gonna be a slower ride today, but at least, okay, so now it's trying to get in front of the truck. Changed its mind, it's not going over anymore. Okay, now it's going over, so. Alright, so yeah, so there's a lot of cars in front right now. It's coming, it's traffic slowing down. Okay, so yeah, like I was saying earlier with the whole robo-taxi deal, so there's a lot of things that Tesla needs to do in order to compete with Uber. So not only do they need a lot more vehicles on the road, you really got to have this FSD very efficient in terms of its decision making. Because let's say you're going from point A to point B and Uber takes like 10 minutes. This FSD better take 10 minutes or faster if they want to compete with Uber. So all the little subtleties in terms of how long it takes for them to make a right turn, a left turn, and so on, they really need to be pretty good at that. Unless the price of their whole robo-taxi is like way cheaper, then if they could really beat the price, then that might be another selling point. If say they're not the fastest, but let's say they're like a few minutes, like 10% slower, but their price is like 50% cheaper, I may still be interested in taking it. But even then, for this whole FSD to be on the road, it really has to be close to flawless and better than the majority of the drivers in all sorts of driving conditions. So that's why today we're going to be testing it out in downtown LA. If you guys know, downtown LA is known to be one of the hardest places to drive. So this is my first time trying out FSD in downtown LA, so let's see how it's gonna do. And it's telling me to apply steering force right now. It's coming in the inner lane. Yeah, so Tesla recently have $99 to subscribe for their FSD, and previously it was $199. But you know, this is really going to help them collect a lot of data to really speed up their development for their training to improve their FSD. Because right after they rolled out their 12.3.3, they came out with 12.3.4 like I think it was like a week or two later. So that's a very fast release since their latest one. I think they really see the value in letting more people use it, because obviously they're gonna be training on it. And one thing that they have too is if you were to disengage autopilot, so you know, let's say I disengage it here, it's gonna actually ask me like, oh, autopilot disengaged, what happened? And then it's gonna actually ask you for input. So you could press this and record some comments. So it says here, press voice button to send Tesla an anonymous message. So I think that's things they could use for feedback for their training. Personally, every time that thing shows up, I actually never, I just ignore it. But you know, if you really want to help Tesla out, you can go ahead and leave a comment. Leave them a comment so that they can maybe improve their system. So. You guys look at the roads right now, the visibility is pretty bad. I could see maybe like performing pretty much just as good as a typical driver, if not better so far. So visibility kind of cleared up again just now. Just then in the back was a lot worse, but here it's a little bit clearer. So if you guys have used the autopilot before, one thing that it was really bad at was the following distance, and when traffic comes to a sudden stop, it would kind of take very long to react and then like hard brake into traffic slowdowns. But with this FSD, you notice that when traffic is slowing down and it's trying to come to a stop, it's a very gradual transition, so you don't really feel that sudden deceleration, which makes the experience sitting in the car a lot more pleasant. So that part I really like about the FSD compared to the autopilot. See, cars are coming to a stop again. We're slowing down. It's like 40 miles per hour. See a fellow Tesla car right here. Wipers are going pretty crazy right now. You have this car like splashing a bunch of water on me. Good thing is we're having a free car wash today. Although my car wasn't too dirty, but it's nice to get a free car wash. It's telling me to apply a slight turning force. It's actually pretty good in terms of the frequency that it's telling me to apply the force. I think before, at least when I was using the 12.3.3, it would keep nagging on me a lot. So right now, as you can see, I'm purposely not holding onto the wheel so you guys can see when it's actually being triggered. So hopefully you guys have a better feeling for kind of the behaviors of this car. So just then we ran out of memory, so we had to cut it off, but we're picking it up again right now. So yeah, we are about 17 minutes to downtown, getting pretty close. You didn't miss too much from earlier. It was just the usual conditions that you were seeing. So far it's doing pretty well in the rain. It's not having much issues. Poor visibility is really not affecting it too much, and surprisingly, or not surprisingly, it's detecting the lanes pretty well still. So that's actually pretty impressive. Like for me, with my own eyes, it's actually kind of hard to see the lanes, but you can see clearly that the lanes are visibly detected. Although of course the feed that we see here is not the exact feed that they're using to make the decisions, but most likely they're inferring the lanes based off of where the other cars are as well. So one good thing is that there's a solid yellow line on my left, so that should definitely help it a little bit. But this white line on the right is pretty not too clear with all the rain on the road. Talk a lot, you get pretty thirsty, so I'm gonna take a drink of water. It's telling me to apply a slight steering force on the steering wheel again. It's surprisingly bright today for a rainy day. Maybe the clouds are scattering the lights. So we still got 14 minutes. What should I talk about? Let's see. talked about the whole neural network, new implementation. We talked about robotaxi. Yeah, let's talk more about the robotaxi. So with the robotaxi, you know, besides getting the price down and handling all these hard cases, I think another big hurdle that people will have is the adoption of it. So let's say everything works. I think people will still need to believe in the technology. So I think even if they're able to get the speed down and everything is working, people might still be pretty scared to sit in a fully autonomous vehicle. So I think until more people, especially if there's like faces of like celebrities or familiar people using it, then I think until then people won't really feel comfortable using it. But you know, like any new technology, I think there's going to be an adoption period for people to get used to things. But I think once people adopt, it's going to move pretty quickly. And especially with the new subscription, there's going to be a lot more training data for people to use. But you know, who knows how long it's going to take. And you can see I'm still limited at 60. Hopefully people won't honk at me in the back. Still saying poor weather detected, so we're going to be stuck at 60 for a while. At least we're getting pretty close, just 12 more minutes. So if you guys are looking into investing in the Tesla stock, not financial advice, but I think last I saw the price was in, I think it was like low 170s, I think. So if you're a long-term bull, then this might be a good time to start a position or add, because at its high it was like $400 and the recent lows was like around 100. So it's gone up about like 60% since its recent lows. And if you look back at like 2-3 years ago, it was trading between like around the 200s for a little bit. So in terms of the price, it's not the cheapest, but it's not too bad either. But again, it's better to be long term, and instead of trying to time it, you really gotta have like a 5-10 year timeline for something like this, especially when technology like this doesn't happen overnight. So you never really know how long it's going to take for this technology to actually be fully working out in the wild. But you know, if you hear people in terms of a lot of financial experts, like if you listen to Dave Ramsey, he's typically very against investing in individual stocks. He calls it like a gamble, and it's very risky, and if you do, you don't want to put more than something like 10% in individual stocks. So just take my tips with a grain of salt. There's a truck that just went in front of me. We're going to be taking the 101 pretty soon in 2.2 miles. I'm surprised the wipers aren't going crazy with this rain. I think previously sometimes with just like a few trickles it would like start whacking back and forth. But okay, just as I'm saying it's starting to whack back and forth. What the heck is going on? It's like it heard me. It's trying to prove me wrong. Okay. So you can see it's barely raining right now, and the wipers are kind of having a mind of its own. But you know, for those, if you guys are bothered by that, you can actually set it. So there's a setting here that's like at auto. You could do 1, 2, 3, or 4. You could kind of change the frequency that you want it to be at. Right now I'm just setting it to auto. But yeah, it's pretty funny that it just started going crazy when I said it was behaving. So, but yeah, in 1.3 miles we're going to be going into the 101. So we probably need to be going over a few lanes pretty soon. And so far it's been pretty good. I haven't had to force disengage this, except for that one time earlier where I was showing you what happens if you did do it. But has been pretty good. There's a pretty slow truck in front of me. Okay, yeah, I was just wondering when it's gonna go over because it was pretty slow. Apply slight turning force. You can see the cars in front are slowing down. Let's pay attention to see how fast it's gonna start slowing down. So I think it picked it up reasonably soon, so it's a very gradual stop. That's good. You can see my max speed went up to 75 degrees. Not degrees, miles per hour. So we're gonna be exiting pretty soon here. Let's see what's gonna happen. So we'll be merging into 101, and then in 1.2 miles we'll be exiting on the 4th. So that's where it's gonna get interesting. So let's see what happens. Although it's in the rain, so I don't know how many cars are out there, but we'll see what happens. Seems to be a lot of congestion here on the right on this Soto Street exit. Choosing right fork to stay on route. Alright, so we're getting on the 101 North.
Then take exit 1C on the left. Now take the US 101 North ramp on the left. In 500 feet, take exit 1C on the left onto US 101 North towards Los Angeles. Now take exit 1C on the left.
Okay, so we're coming close to the end of our freeway drive. You can see in about 0.7 miles we'll be exiting soon. So see there's cars. It's kind of scary right now. There's some cars merging together, but I think I handled it pretty well. Cars slowing down a little bit. See our max speed is back up to 80. There's no more weather condition signs, so the rain has kind of slowed down a little bit.
1,000 feet, take exit 1A on the right onto 4th Street.
But you can see here we're exiting soon. This car behind me was trying to pass. I think it's getting a little impatient. I think I need to have like a FSD testing logo or sign on my car.
Take exit 1A on the right.
Alright, let's see how it does exiting the freeway.
In 500
So
feet,
it's
turn
taking
left onto East 4th Street.
the left lane. I think I got a little confused there.
Now turn left onto East 4th Street.
See, that car in front of me was kind of rushing. Okay, so it's coming to a stop. There's a person in front of me walking by in sandals. Man, not a good thing to be wearing sandals in the rain, but so it says here, stopped at traffic control, use accelerator or stalk to continue. Seems like it stopped here. Let's see what's gonna happen. Okay. I thought it canceled for a second, but it didn't. Okay, so in 1 mile we're gonna be making a right here, so let's see what happens. Maybe we should go to the busier part of the streets, but let's see what happens. Apply slight turning force. Okay, so it's making a right here. I'm going to the right lane. can see the street right here is curving a lot, so let's see how it does on this curve here. It's turning pretty nicely. Looks like all this rain is kind of keeping people indoors. There's not as many people as I thought out here. It's gonna make me have a turn a right on the street coming up.
In 500 feet, turn right onto South Alameda Street. Now turn right onto South Alameda
Okay, so we'll be
Street.
making a right turn here pretty soon. I saw that weird little swivel here. It's getting confused. I don't think I should have done that. It's trying to pass this car here. I don't know if that was a good idea for this car. Yeah, so let's see how it's gonna get out of this. See, the car next to me is trying to come up. Oh man, what is it? Okay, I stopped it. Yeah, this was not very safe. You see there's a cone up here taking over. I'm gonna come in here now and then, okay. Yeah, that was pretty scary.
In 500 feet, turn left onto
Alright,
East
so
2nd Street.
now we're coming in on the left lane here. We're gonna be making a left up in front.
Now turn left onto East 2nd Street.
Yeah, so I think earlier they thought there was a lane there, but there wasn't. I would have just waited behind the cars. Let's see, it's gonna make a left here. You see there's incoming cars. Oh my god, and it just went for it.
Now turn left.
I wouldn't have done that. Alright, so it seems to be at our destination.